Yes.
Okay, so this is the backup we made prior to upgrading your SQL database. So this is the backup we made on the 23rd. And as you can see, we have detail in here now. Okay.
Yes.
However, there still are some residual issues. Quick sales seem to be pretty much correct. There's a few things we're missing though on some records, such as tender. And also, let me find, let's see. This one. What we've also discovered is, if you look at this is for Tim Lacey, and as you can, the header information down here, your deposit, subtotal taxes, this is correct. But in recreating the detail of the invoice, if we scroll down here, you'll see that some of these, the prices are not correct. And we think this is because you are using price breaks, maybe?
That's actually been, which we've never revisited, but all those, I don't know if those a lot of times come out of templates. So like if somebody's buying 12 packs, that probably originated, that was probably sold as a template because there's 12 packs in a flat. So usually, although it says marigold pack, yeah, those are probably, because if they're 12s, they were sold as flats, which they would have originally been sold from a template, but it doesn't look like the template showing.
Right. So there is some information that our programmer was just not able to recover from the sources we use to rebuild the detail, and specifically pricing like this, which is clearly not correct, but other pricing is. If we could get a copy of an invoice like this so we can see what the original pricing is, the programmer can go back in and look and see if there is any way for us to recover the correct pricing. But if not, then this is the best we can do. So we're about 95% correct. There's just going to be instances like this where the pricing, the extension pricing, is going to be wrong. But in spot checking, I just went through and spot checked, several dozen invoices at random, and nearly all of them are correct. When you add everything up in the detail, it matches what's in the header. There's just a few instances where it doesn't match. We've also discovered some invoices, and I've got a list of orders that were converted, but we have invoices for them, but there are still remaining orders. And I think, Mike, you have a way of fixing that?
Yes. I mean, remaining orders, typically just choose the deposit amount or take payment, and it clears itself out, and then you can void them.
Okay, there's not a lot of them, but there, what are there? There's like 18 records we found of orders that are linked to invoices but are still remaining as orders. They could simply be partial converts, but I've got that information and I can send you. In fact, that one I was just on, Lacey, seems to be one that started as an order and was converted. This one started as an order and was converted, but there's still remnants of the order showing. but we kind of wanted to go through and show you, that we were, pretty successful, but there are still going to be some issues remaining. So, what do you think?
Well, that's good, because most of these things, like on this Lacey thing, none of that stuff's guaranteed, so we won't have any like return issues or anything, but with
Yeah, at least, the items will appear on the invoice. So, like I said, the extension may be wrong in some cases, but they did buy an Alyssum pack, so that they did actually buy that on their invoice. And as you can see, we were able to link customers because this was all blank. All this stuff was blank. So if there is something specific, if there is an order that is just really strange, or if there's an invoice that you wish, there was more, an invoice like this one that you wish was more accurate. Like I said, if we can get actual examples, a printout, a copy of what the actual pricing was and stuff, then our programmer can go back in and see if there's any way to recover it completely. But
So if I could interject, the purpose of retrieving all of this is because you're doing returns. Is that right?
yeah, there's whenever somebody buys a tree or a shrub or a perennial, things that are typically supposed to survive the winter, those things all come with a guarantee, and that's one of the things we like about ever since we've been using Positive all these years. It's kind of taken the onus off the customer to have to maintain their paper receipts, and we can just look them up and see what they bought.
Okay.
And
So,
that's what I was most concerned about losing when this whole thing went sour on us.
right. So what I'd like to do is go through the process of, let's say a customer is returning something, and make sure it works like we think it should.
Okay.
well, in this case, if it was something like this that had the price break, Mike, if you reference the invoice number, it's still going to carry over the wrong price. You'll know they're returning one of these items, but the price would have to be manually adjusted to the correct pricing.
So let's say that Tim Lacey wants to return one of these things. Can we do that?
Well, we can certainly call up the invoice.
So, yeah, so we just go to returns, call up this invoice number.
3112. All right, so.
But they may do it through, do you do it through here, or do you do it through the customer center?
Most of the time through the customer center.
All right, so maybe we should go that route, Dean.
Yeah, let me void this. All right, so
Customers.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting there. Lacey, I think there's a space in there. Oop, it was. Is it L? Did I spell it wrong? There it is. Okay. All right. So here's our history. While we're here, I can show you. This is the invoice or the order that we're still linking to. So that it didn't remove the deposit when it was converted to the invoice. Okay. So here's our invoice that we recovered. We'll do a return. Okay, so in here you can see that it maintains this pricing, because you don't sell these for
21.8 each or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything with a correct price we'll return correctly, but if for whatever reason they were going to return one of these packs,
What it is, and now that what it is, and I'm looking at it now, it's exactly what I said it was. $27.99 is the price of the template.
Right, and that's, so if you bought 12 of these, it would have been $27.99. It wouldn't have been $335.88, right?
Right, that's right, that's exactly right.
So in the logic they used to recover this information, they didn't see what the template price was, and what's happening is it's simply multiplying it's not making the connection between the template and the pricing. So it just sees 12, which is a 12 pack, and it's multiplying that by the price of the 12 pack, but it's multiplying it, it's got the incorrect information. And
So if you choose process at the bottom, and then you say 12 as quantity is right,
then you'll have to adjust the price to the correct price. So that's going to require somebody knowing.
now here's a problem that we hadn't anticipated. All we're seeing is the header.
I think my machine is acting a little weird.
No,
It should have pulled up something.
it should have pulled up the.
There it is. Screen
There.
refresh.
Okay.
The screen wasn't refreshing. Okay. So,
So you want to change the price to 12 divided by, or 27.99 divided by 12.
well, I think what we want to do is adjust quantity
Well,
and do maybe minus one. Oop.
I really want to do it Mike's way because, if we're looking to see how many of these things we want to order next year or how many we sold, we want to know we sold 12 packs, not 1 pack.
Okay, so
it's minus
sorry.
minus 12, and then the 27.99 divided by.
Oh,
Well, the eyes of the world are on you, Dean. You know
yeah, I don't have to do returns.
that.
There. All right. So then, what would the price be then?
This is doing it for you.
It'd be
See, that's the thing, is it's wanting to multiply 12 by 27.99.
it comes out to $2.33.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so we're close. Okay, so as long as you know that, you can properly do a return. I mean, it's going to be pretty obvious if you do a return from an invoice like this that the pack price is wrong. Right. And it's only going to be a handful of these. The majority of the invoices we were able to recover are correct. They will work properly.
Well, here's in the grand scheme of things that it's okay because very rarely would anybody have any occasion to return one of these templates. So that the odds of somebody returning one of these, especially every day that goes by, there might be somebody occasionally that buys one day and realizes that they bought one too many and they want to bring one back. But that's going to happen like the next day, and we're not even selling these flats anymore once we get into June. So,
Okay.
So with the template thing, the one thing I'm concerned about is what about like on the reporting? Like if you wanted to run like a department category report, are all these numbers with the templates now going to be wrong and trying to like say comparatively what our sales were this year to last year, the dollar wise? Without having this cleaned up somehow or another?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike.
So
What do you
what you're asking is, if I run a report on 5/23, is it going to be so distorted?
Well, he's asking about how is this going to impact department and category reports?
Well, let's look at it. I mean, can you run the department category for 5/23 at all? I mean, it shows nothing, right?
Right, yeah, and that's just nothing.
All right, so let's just run the report for 5/23.
Everything or just pick one?
Well, we're gonna just do the date range. Change your
Right.
date range.
If you want to zero in on what the problem is, just narrow it down to annual spring, and then you'll be able to do annual flat.
That'd be good. Okay.
No, not early spring. No, you gotta go down there. That's early spring. You want annual spring. It's too
Oh,
long.
sorry.
when you-
Right
Yeah.
here. Okay, I can tag, why don't I just tag all these in this category then? And then
You're gonna get, if we want to see what specifically what we're looking at, you could just narrow that down to the annual flats, because all the other stuff is in templates. If we just want to focus it, because I think this issue is all related to templates.
okay. Okay, here, let me go back here. So, okay, so what do we want, like a flat?
Annual
Or
flat.
pack?
No, just a flat, annual flat.
Okay,
And change your date range again.
I am.
No.
I wanted to
Yeah.
do this first
Okay.
before I
Yeah.
proceeded. Okay, so we're gonna do just for the 23rd.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna want to do either some detail or full detail.
We'll do full detail.
So nothing to preview because maybe we didn't store that in that report.
Now this is where, because when they're sold, they're packed. So go down, that's my mistake. Don't click annual flat. Now, click what you're gonna do first. You were right, do annual pack.
Okay, so let's run this again.
Packs are what are actually being sold in the temple.
There, now we have a result.
Yeah, you can see, the reports are all off there when you see, even if you go to like that second one, Begonia, where you got 12 of them and the price is $335.88. That's the magic number. There's another one, 12 of them, see when you did and even the 6 at 16, that's right, that's 275. So you can see the difference. If you look at like just the Begonia pack, the top one and the bottom one were sold as a template because they're 12, and the middle one was sold as a 6, where the average cost was
Right.
270, and the average price on the other two is the average price of the template itself. So throwing that all the way off with the 334.83.
Okay, so that might be useful information that we can have the programmer look at to see if there is a way for us to recover the template pricing.
Right.
If we can do that, then that would make everything correct.
Right.
So I can talk to her first, and she can take a look at it. If you like, we can hold off until she has a chance to review it, and but either way, we do have, we can get pretty close, but we want to get as close as possible. So I'll talk to her today. Now that we know this is good. This sales report, she can go in and look at these items in these templates and see if that information is anywhere she can pull it from. So, okay.
So one more thing I think we ought to touch on. Any questions about this first? So we're gonna have to go back to the program and see if we can get these numbers changed. Okay, so let's close this and go back to the customer center and find that Lacey guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And pending. So this order should really be blank, although it's showing 2 items.
And it has a deposit on it.
And the deposit is way more than it should be. So above that yellow is a word, is payments button.
Oh, well, actually, this is correct, Mike. This carried over onto the invoice. So this is probably correct if you add everything up that's on the order, or I mean the invoice.
Well,
This is not correct here.
but the order shouldn't even be here, right?
Right. So where do you
choose-
want me to go?
Choose payments. And it's blank. We knew that, although it says that there was a payment, and then you choose close. And now you can void that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it's yeah, the 523, whatever. 523 fund,
For the reason,
yeah, or whatever.
just say data recovery.
And you can copy and paste that if you need it more than once. Now, the screen, if you highlight Kathy and then back to Tim, it'll be gone.
Yeah. What was you had a question?
I said, you said there were like 18 transactions like that?
Well, there's 18 invoices that are still linked to records, orders, I mean. And so this was one of them. This order for Tim Lacey is one that was linked to an invoice, but the order was still here.
Okay.
So I'll provide you with that list. I'll provide you, it's got the invoice number and then the customer name. I think it's got the order number. It's got everything, the order number, the invoice number, and if there are any deposits. Only two of them, the one we just deleted and one other one shows a deposit pending. So they should just simply be deleted. Okay. So I will, when we're finished here, I will talk to the programmer with the additional information and see if she is able to use that to recover additional detail.